What is up, Film Geeks? My name is Trevor. Welcome to my channel. We made it to the end of 2022. It's the last day of the year, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of give like a movie roundup, the best, the worst, disappointing, surprises, and a couple other categories in there like best horror movie, best animated movie, best superhero movie, all sorts of that little fun stuff. A video where I'm going to talk about all kinds of different movies. Movies I loved, movies I didn't love, everything like that. There are a couple top 10 lists, like top 10 comic movies of the year, top 10 movies of the year on my channel already, so you guys can feel free and check those out. The links will be above. But this is going to be a fun, more laid-back video talking about some of the worst, best, surprising, disappointing, great movies of the year. I think 2022 overall was a pretty fantastic year for film. I don't know about you. Let me know down below in the comment section what your guys' thoughts are on 2022 as a whole for movies, for TV, and what was your favorite, least favorite, surprising, disappointing, all those movies. Let me know those down below in the comment section. And what are your New Year's resolutions? Let's talk about it. Let's have a little goal strategy session down below in the comments. I'm excited for this video. So, we're going to start off with worst movies. Thor: Love and Thunder comes in at number 1. This is my least favorite movie probably of all time because I was very excited to go into it. I was not a fan of what Taika Waititi did. The goats screaming, they just lost me. And when Thor hopped on, Stormbreaker like a witch's broom, and he laughed like a witch, man, from that moment on, which was about 4 minutes in, I knew I was not looking like this movie. And just the kids and the army and the floating, it was not good. I did not like this movie at all. Next up, I'm going Morbius. Obvious reasons. I think everyone didn't like this movie, and I wanted to like it. In the first 30 minutes, I was actually on board. I was like, wow, is this going to be like Venom? Am I actually going to like this movie? And then it just, quick dive down, like you're going down a snow hill, you know? And then I'm going to have Jurassic World Dominion, a movie that is like the Avengers of the Jurassic franchise. We have the OGs back, and they're like sidelined in like a CIA like office looking for stuff, and it focuses on bugs. Lotus. This is the most boring, mismarketed movie I've ever seen. Those are my top 3 worst movies of the year. Moving on to top 3 surprises of the year. This is movies that I didn't expect anything from, and then I ended up getting a lot from. So, first up, Halloween Ends. I have a movie reaction to this on the channel, and if you watch that movie reaction, you know I was a pretty big fan of this movie. I thought it was very interesting that Michael Myers wasn't the killer this time around. I think the killer that's in this movie, Corey, should have been introduced in the 2018 Halloween, like a lot of people are saying, but he's in this movie, and he becomes like the new slasher killer, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because I am tired of seeing Michael Myers go around stabby, so it was pretty cool to see a different guy kind of be in that. But for Michael Myers' last movie, I can see why you would be frustrated, because he's not in the movie all that much. But Laurie and Michael's battle at the very end, I mean, it's pretty damn sick. Then I have Barbarian. This is my favorite horror movie of the year. I don't know how to describe this movie other than that it is absolutely insane. I didn't watch trailer for it. I heard that it's fantastic. It's like an Airbnb horror movie. Go check it out with the guy who plays Pennywise. And I did. I'm so glad I did. And it has like 3 different stories to this movie. Really well done. I can't wait to see what happens next. And there was one point in this movie I was the most scared I've ever been in my life. Literally was frozen. Couldn't even move. And it was not good because the thing that I saw would have definitely killed me. It was awful. It was terrifying. And finally, I have Bullet Train. This made my top 10 year movie list. And you might be wondering, why aren't you excited for Bullet Train? It looked like a fun action movie. The trailers looked awful. The poster was even worse. I was not excited for this movie in the slightest. And I ended up loving it. Top 7 of the year, I think it made. Brad Pitt destroys it in this role. Aaron Taylor Johnson, it was my favorite part, as well as Brian Tyree Henry. I love movies that take place on like one setting, so it's on his bullet train the entire time. The cameos are great. This movie's hilarious. It's fantastic, and I love the way it's told. It's honestly just fun, and I had a really fun time with it. So, Bullet Train makes it the top 3 surprising list, as well as Halloween Ends and Barbarian. Moving on to the top 3 disappointments of the year. Movies that I don't necessarily hate, but I wanted to love, and I might need to go back and rewatch these, but movies that I walked out of the theater like, man, that had so much potential. And first up on that list is Lightyear. This movie, man, was I excited for it. The trailers look great. The Starman music was fantastic. Chris Evans voicing Buzz Lightyear. This is the movie we're going to see that Andy loved. So I bought the Buzz Lightyear toy, and it just fell through the cracks. Was not very happy with how like the whole villain got revealed, and I thought it was very silly and odd. There are some very good moments in this movie. Most of them come from the character of Socks, this cat. Meow, 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 meow. He's honestly my favorite part about this movie, and I need to go back and rewatch this one before a Pixar movie that I was very excited for. This one left a pretty sour taste in my mouth when I left. I was like, man, thought it was going to be a Star Wars Pixar movie, and it just kind of wasn't. I was pretty disappointed with that one. Then we have Scream, back in January. I'm a diehard Scream fan. Scream is my favorite horror movie of all time, top 20 favorite movie of all time for me. So, going into this new sequel, it's been a long time since Scream. I was over the moon excited, and I need to go back and rewatch this one, and I will rewatch this one before Scream 6 comes out. And I like this one. I had some fun with it. I just wasn't a really big fan of some of the decisions they made, especially killing one of the OG characters. And I had a feeling that was going to happen. Predicted it before going in. I was right, and I was kind of like, really? And the killers were, honestly, it was very obvious, and it kind of happened from the trailer. Like, you watch a trailer and you see the movie, you'll actually know who the killer is. And when that happened, I was like, they're going this route? Again, I wanted to love Scream. I need to go back and rewatch it, but definitely one of those movies that I was so excited I left out the movie. I was kind of like, meh, dang it. And finally, I haven't talked about this one on the channel at all. It's Babylon. Little story going into this one. I went in, I was like, okay, I almost didn't go see it, and I went to go see it. It's me and two old people in a theater on opening night. Never a good sign. And I've never had a movie give me a headache so much before. I never saw myself being so frustrated, annoyed, and just honestly kind of like not mad, but like I guess just like exhausted when watching a movie. Like my head was pounding. This movie is chaotic, and that's its biggest default. It's too chaotic. When it has moments where it's focusing on transitioning from short films to talkies, which are movies with sound and actual like dialogue, I was so interested, and I thought a whole movie should have been made about that. A 2-hour movie, not a 3-hour movie. I made it 2 hours and 15 minutes into this movie, had the worst headache, and I left. And Damien Chazelle movie made me leave the theater, and man, that's why it's on disappointing list. I will rewatch this one. It's coming to HBO Max or Blu-ray or something soon, because this movie is not doing good at all at the box office, and a lot of that comes from the marketing. You can't just put Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie in a movie and go, oh, okay, like there was what, one trailer for this movie? Babylon, man, it that one's a stinger. That one's a stinger. Moving on to best comic book movie of the year, it's The Batman. There's no other question. I'm Vengeance. This movie was everything and more you could have wanted, from the way they created the Gotham to the Pattinson to Matt Reeves' direction, how they set up sequels and spin-off series. The Batman was everything more you could want in a comic book movie. I've talked about it enough, so we'll move on. Guilty Pleasure of the Year. Movie that I know has lots of problems, and I know most people don't like this one, but for me, I had fun, I smiled, I laughed, and had a good time. It's gonna be Black Adam. This one was a crazy, stupid, fun, dumb movie, and I don't care. I had so much fun watching this movie, from moments when all of a sudden, like a 2012 Kanye West song starts playing, and Black Adam's destroying a bunch of stuff. Like, it doesn't make much sense, but I enjoyed it. I really like the Justice Society in this movie, like Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, such cool characters, and I thought they set them all up to have Dr. Fate have his own series, Hawkman get his own series on HBO Max, and it's looking like it's not going to happen now with everything going on in DC. I totally understand what they're trying to do, but Black Adam, a lot of people weren't a fan. I left the theater like with a smile on my face, like, that was fun. And I had fun, so my guilty pleasure of the year is Black Adam, because I'm aware of the problems, but I don't care. Does that make sense? Moving on. Best horror movie of the year, gonna go with Barbarian, as I mentioned before. Barbarian was everything more I could have wanted in a horror movie. A really close runner-up for this is actually going to be The Black Phone, and I mention that because The Black Phone, I feel, is really underappreciated this year. The Black Phone was a very good horror movie, and at times it's a little cheesy, but I enjoyed it, and one of those movies that almost made the surprising list as well, because I went on a whim, and I'm glad I did, so I want to toss The Black Phone in there with Barbarian, kind of tied for that first spot of best horror movie of the year, but I'll give the slightest edge to Barbarian. If you guys have seen either of these movies, let me know down below. Then I have a category, underrated / underwatched. I feel underrated would equal also underwatched movies. Movies that not a lot of people went out to go see, not a lot of people were talking about. This movie had great reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, like 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's The Woman King. This is the top 5 movie of the year for me, and The Woman King was everything and more I wasn't expecting. I went in not really knowing much, not even knowing if I was going to like it. I got off work early, went to the theater, and thank goodness I did. Lashana Lynch, I was always a fan of her, but not the biggest fan. This made me a fan of her for life. You watch this movie, you will be so in love with her character. But Viola Davis turns in one of the greatest performances of the year. She's every year, each time Viola Davis is on screen, she turns in like a career best performance. It's absolutely insane. But this movie has the best hand-to-hand combat fighting I've ever seen. If you guys haven't seen The Woman King, highly encourage you to go check it out. It's on digital. It's on Blu-ray, Steelbook, 4K, all that. Check this movie out. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. Moving on to Best Streaming Movie. There's a couple good ones that came out this year straight to streaming. I'm going to go Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. This movie, it's hilarious. It's a great whodunit, and I love Benoit Blanc, and I love Rian Johnson doing these murder mysteries. I wasn't a fan of the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes. If you guys have seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. The first 15 seems chaotic and all over the place, and I got to see this in theaters. And I have a feeling lots of people who watch this one at home might want to turn it off. I told all my friends, get through the first 30, 40 minutes, and then you'll be on board with this movie. And I love that there's a mystery within a mystery in this movie, and Janelle Monáe's character, she's so good and done so well. And Benoit Blanc is a donut's hole inside a donut's hole. I say that every time we talk about Benoit Blanc. I love him. I can't wait for Knives Out 3, and I hope we get 4, 5, 6 of these movies because Rian Johnson is so good at creating these murder mysteries. Moving on to Best Animated Movie of the Year. Second to last category. It's going to be Turning Red. This movie, when I first watched it, wasn't a big fan. Kind of fell asleep in and out throughout it. Watched it again with my fiance a couple times. She had it on at the house a lot, and I ended up enjoying it more and more. I would say this is one of the weakest years for animated movies I've seen. I have not seen Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, or Strange World. So, a couple movies I've missed, but instead of Turning Red, I almost put DC Lego Super Pets. That's a cute, fun movie, but I gave the slightest edge to Turning Red. It's cute, has charm, has heart. It's not a picture movie I'm going to watch all the time, but definitely one I might go and check out again in the future. And our last category is going to be Best Movies of the Year, the top 3 Best Movies of the Year. If you have seen my top 10 Best Movies list, you already know our top 3, but at number 3 is going to be The Batman. Already talked about this one. It's the greatest superhero movie of the year, possibly of the decade, put up there with No Way Home and Wakanda Forever. Then, number 2, I'm going to go with Avatar: The Way of Water. This movie was everything and more I could have wanted in a sequel. I love the first Avatar, and I think this one is better, and I'm probably going to see it a third time in theaters. I hope it does $2 billion at the box office. I hope it does $3 billion. I hope it breaks all the records, and I'm so excited for Avatar 3. But number 1... Top Gun Maverick. There's nothing else in this year that describes the year besides Top Gun Maverick. This year was fast, crazy, and like action-packed, and so was Top Gun Maverick. I think it truly defines the year of 2022. The highest of highs, lowest of lows, and you just got to come out on top. Talk to me, Goose. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for all the support in 2022. Got lots of goals for 2023. I'm excited to get into there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your favorite movies of the year, least favorites, surprising disappointments, whatever you want to do. Hope you guys have a great New Year's Eve. Be safe, and I'll see you guys next year.